This is a short video for the individual that asked me the question on the YouTube channel video. I think it was the very first tire video. What do you do when you have a staggered tire situation like the end over there? How do you square that off? And he asked if you just cut tires in half. I'll let that individual know I tried that. It does work, but here's the downfall. It's very time consuming to cut through that tire bead. You know, that wire that's in here on that bead is very difficult to cut through, even with like a reciprocating saw with a metal cutting blade. And then the other problem is getting the half tire to attach well enough that you can pack dirt into the tire. So again, I tried it twice, and both times that I did it was very time-consuming, frustrating, and so I abandoned the idea of cutting tires in half to fill in those spaces where you want to square things off and in between tires. What I ended up doing, and here's a good example of it, you can see it down below a little bit. You can see several layers of mesh. We call this where I'm from, a hardware cloth, and it comes in varying sizes. You can see back here, this is a 1/4 inch size, and I believe this is a 1/2 inch size. So you can kind of see with this example, here's 2 tires, and there's hardware cloth filling in this gap. It comes around here, around to that side. Now, you can't obviously you can't pack dirt into just hardware cloth. So inside there is fabric. I decided to use the kind of a black mesh weed blocking fabric, but you could use anything you wanted, whether it was plastic or whatever, but I wanted to allow water to get through, so I used that weed blocking fabric, and you can see it here. Here's an example. It's a little bit clearer here, and what I would do is, you can kind of see where this one is attached back there on the back side of the tire. I would use fender washers and the screws and mold that to the size I wanted, and then attach it in several places and attach it to the tires below with the fender washers and screws. And then the fabric goes behind the mesh and actually wraps up underneath and is attached. So the fabric just doesn't go down, it goes back at the bottom too, so that the dirt can't penetrate down through. And then that allows you to pack the tires. The other thing too is, when you use half tires, the tires tend to really balloon then. So it's hard to pack them where you want them, to level things and keep things proportionate. The mesh, however, doesn't stretch a whole lot. It becomes very tight. You can see I'm pushing on that, and it stays pretty tight, and it doesn't expand a lot. So once you get the length and height that you want, then you can attach it, put in your mesh, and start packing your tires. Now, the other thing too, I think I've got an example up here. Sometimes when you can see the short ones too, in between tires. That's what I also did. Some of them, like this is a very large area here. You can see the tire there, and there's a tire there, and then there's tires down below. But this area here, in a large area like that, I would put rebar, pieces of rebar going down, and then attach. Or I also, in some cases, used garden stakes. So kind of depending on the size of the gap that you're filling, you may want to use rebar, you may want to use garden stakes. to reinforce that mesh to hold that shape that you're trying to accomplish. I hope this video helps with answering your question. Again, you can certainly cut the tires. That's one option. I chose to do it this way. I'm sure there's other ways that people could think of to fill those gaps with other materials that they have in their local area. This is just what worked for me, and because I also wanted the mesh because I'm concreting it. My finished product is actually what this is. So filling in with concrete, that mesh is helping to give it something to stick to. So anyway, thanks for asking the question. I hope this helped. Bye.